Hello yet again, welcome back to the most disturbing channels on YouTube. Today is episode 3 of this series, and as usual we're going to be covering 3 of YouTube's absolutely most disturbing channels that just should not exist. Cue intro. I know it's like the 3rd episode, but I'm just now going to say it. I hope that you like that intro that I made specifically for this series. It was never intended to be that big of a series, but since it has some kind of traction now, I'm glad that I actually put a lot of effort into making it look quite epic, if I don't say so myself. As usual with the 3 channels that I've chosen for today's video, some of them you probably heard of, and I've also chosen at least 1 or 2 that I specifically think that you have not heard of, actually, just so that we can spice up the variety. So make sure you double check behind you to make sure no one's watching, and with all that being said, let's get into it. The first channel that we have here is called the Unfavorable Semicircle. This channel started uploading a ludicrous amount of videos right after it was created in 2015. This channel uploaded 80,000 total videos in the time that it existed, and it did not exist for all that long at all. This channel actually got suspended only about a couple of months after it was created. But the thing that stands out about this thing, which is much different than other channels that uploaded an absolute ton of videos, like, for example, WebDriver Torso, which was discovered to be run by YouTube itself to test out the quality of their website. The difference here is that there's a whole lot of evidence of this channel in the way it produced videos. Almost once every couple of minutes at its peak for months on end was being done manually. Now, when you start understanding that there's about 80,000 videos, that starts getting a little bit concerning to the person's fingers, just repeatedly uploading 24/7, and their basic health in general. Who is behind this ridiculous crap, and what was the purpose to it? Because when you start looking into the details of all the videos that were on this channel before it got suspended, you could start to see that there's really a lot of eerie factors to them. Each and every single one of them are unique to themselves. They all have their own specific patterns when it comes to their visuals and their audio. Not a single one of them is just the same. And believe me, people looked into it. An almost concerning amount. Like, you should probably be more productive, but okay. Thank you for helping me. So yes, unlike WebDriver Torso, each video wasn't just a bunch of red and blue flashing boxes. They were all very specific. So specific that people started to think that there could possibly be some very intelligent pattern that was intending to be solved. But that was really unfortunate because the channel, pretty much right after people started caring about it, just disappeared because it was deleted. YouTube didn't want anything to do with it, which further separates it from any kind of comparison with WebDriver Torso, a channel that is owned by YouTube in order to produce videos to test YouTube's video player quality, because why would YouTube delete a channel that it owned? Since YouTube probably only has the technology that can produce 80,000 videos automatically, someone must have been doing this manually somehow. And it leads us to believe that they were doing it in a way that made YouTube very suspicious themselves as to what the intentions of this person or organization called the Unfavorable Semicircle was trying to do, so they decided to just remove it under the pretext of spam and unwanted repetitive things or violations. No other things were ever, like, revealed from YouTube about it, of course. They're always just the most transparent company ever. Now some videos of the What's the name of this channel already? Now some videos of the Unfavorable Semicircle were actually able to crash the device of the person watching them. So people would be watching them on their phones, on their browsers, and they would just crash and stop working just by playing the video. Sometimes other things would go wrong. Like, the video would keep playing even after it went past the bar of completion. It would just infinitely keep playing. But the video didn't repeat, it just kept going. So no one really knew how long certain videos were. Now, out of the 80,000 videos on this channel, you can only imagine the kind of hidden things that were actually just within all of them, considering every single one was different. It's like a procedurally generated video game. Old cartoons have to just recycle the background. They can't just make everything completely different. But this, it wasn't like that. So none of this is really making too much sense. So what am I talking about? Well, it all really comes down to only just 2 videos across the entire 80,000 videos that were on this channel. And those 2 videos were called Lock and Delock. And they soon became, within the short life of this channel, the most popular and the most investigative videos across everything else. And that was because lots of things were found when you looked into the details of these 2 videos. They were amongst the longest videos that were ever uploaded. And if you were to take all the pixel orientations of all the fluctuating patterns in the videos and layer them together all in one, you start to get these very specific looking images, which seem to be not accidental. And if you were to take the audio of each video, of Lock and Delock, you started getting patterns which in spectrograms started looking like it was some kind of solvable puzzle. People were getting so close to trying to figure out what was the whole meaning behind this, because not a single person ever met or found out who was running the channel, or an organization of multiple people, before it just got suspended. YouTube looked into it, and whatever they found with it, they didn't like, so they just deleted it. Now that even adds a whole nother layer of suspicion to everything, because that even means that something else, even darker, might be going on, involved with the whole thing. Now, was it aliens? Yes. That is what it was. So that is my theory. It was not aliens. Nobody to this day understands what the unfavorable semicircle was, what they were trying to do, so it is very unnerving and unsolved. This next mystery is actually very kind of like not known by that many people, and I found it to be very surprising considering the amount of depth that it actually has when you get into it. Ash Robinson. Ash Robinson was a small YouTube channel which would frequently explore abandoned places and creepy locations that were sometimes thought to be haunted. And there's lots of people who also dedicate their channels to doing all kinds of mysterious activities like that. They just go around Scooby-Dooing all over YouTube, pretty much. And it's similar to the ambition of a previous channel that we just covered in the first video of this series, actually called Snakebit McGee, who was pressured into exploring a location in real life by his audience who really wanted him to find it, which was a location that just happened to be a cave in the shape of an M. Similar to that, Ash Robinson was personally pressured into exploring a very specific location that she was promised by an anonymous user who messaged her through email would be one of the best and most scary abandoned haunted places she would ever have the privilege to make a video about. The anonymous person also said that not many people knew about this, therefore no one was really making any videos on it except her if she were to do it, and therefore it would be the perfect viral video type of opportunity. Now, she shared this message that she received from this person, of which the name of the person was of course never revealed, and lots of her small audience instantaneously influenced her to go through with it because they wanted to see what it was super cool, and they wanted to actually like figure out whether or not this place was really gonna live up to the hype that was apparently brought out by this one person. But just like the Snakebit McGee situation, the person running Snakebit McGee channel, Kenny Levitch, there were lots of people telling him to, in fact, not go to this cave. There's lots of suspicious things or lots of red flags about it that really indicated that no one should be going there for whatever reason. One person specifically said that that you will actually be in danger if you go there. Same thing with Ash Robinson. A very few amount of people out of the majority that wanted her to go were warning her, don't do that, it's pretty dangerous, lots of things could go wrong, you don't know this person, it could be a trap, it could be anything. But unfortunately, she just went through with doing it anyways. Despite everything of what the skeptics were saying to her, she of course just wanted the best produced content in the best locations that she could put on her small channel, which didn't even have 1,000 subscribers at the time. And this location was also not even near a city like all the rest of the locations she went to usually was. Which was also kind of a red flag, because lots of abandoned locations are still close to civilization. This place, according to what she had said in her video vlog talking about how she wanted to do this, was that this place was so far away from anything that she thought that there was no one even living there. And in the videos leading up to this situation, her vlogs became more and more anxious as they got posted more and more often. And at the very end, 3 videos were produced in a single day right after the channel's name was changed. No longer Ash Robinson. Of course, right before things started to go south, Ash Robinson's channel looked like a normal channel. And now the first video leading up to this, which was also back in 2015, investigating the old cistern, the most haunted location yet? Now this video was also particularly long for her average video, and I'll have a whole entire YouTube Unsolved about the actual details of what the videos on her channels, especially this last video, showed. I'm not going to get into the actual footage in today's segment because we're abbreviating every channel, but we have actually a whole lot of downloaded videos from this channel when people saw it when they first came out. So we're going to be looking into the actual details of the situation. But basically, to narrow it all down, Ash Robinson was never heard of again. After this video, she was never seen. She never uploaded another video. Supposedly, she had never uploaded a video herself to her own YouTube channel. No one ever heard of her. She never posted on social media, because the very next video right after that was posted on the exact same day, and it was called MVI 2015-112. Now, we don't have any actual literal recordings of this video, but we do have screenshots, and it was basically a depiction of a struggle taking place in what looked like a van. There's only a couple screenshots for the first video, which was 2015-112, but the second video was arguably even worse. MVI 2015-112-1, which was clearly uploaded straight off some hard drive, and not the same style that Ash Robinson would do at all, ever. And it showed what looked like a dark room, kind of, with a tied-up person, which is clearly very distressing. And this person obviously looked to be a female in the screenshots that we have of this video. So it's not looking good. You could just instantly say that the whole thing was one big stunt, but we're going to get into the reasons why that's not exactly that simple. If this was just a stunt, why would she even do this if she was never going to post again, if she really clearly enjoyed vlogging and making videos about what she did? There is no signs of her ever being like a trickster or prank type YouTuber. And why never come back or speak out about what all this was for over 6 years? Still no one has ever heard of what happened to Ash Robinson. And there's no context to these last 2 videos whatsoever. Immediately after the videos were posted, Ash Robinson's channel was renamed to a series of random numbers, of which are completely incomprehensible, and they're just random series of digits, before all the rest of her videos on her channel were either privated or taken down. And no one really has any information of what came about with the original Ash Robinson channel at all. So was all of that leading up to it just one big game, or are we actually witnessing some kind of legitimate kidnapping taking place? Recorded. A vlogger literally recorded her own kidnapping. Well, since there is no further intel on whatever happened to Ash Robinson, with the last 2 videos that we know of that were ever posted to her channel, which were the very weird and disturbing cryptic ones, which could have potentially even showed what happened or was happening to her, we can only hope for the best. Now, Kate Yup was a channel that specialized in ASMR with food, which is already scary enough for me. And it completely pulled a Marina Joyce. So with the whole Kate Yup channel, you would just look at the videos and you'd say it's just a normal mukbang channel. But then all of a sudden people started to realize that things weren't really adding up here. They were starting to suspect that something was seriously wrong, because Kate Yup was not acting like a normal person. And this is not like the situation with Ash Robinson, where everything seemed normal up until one point where everything just disappeared and turned into some weird, kidnapping, horrible situation. Now, this was a slow buildup of time where people started to realize that this person was starting to either lose her mind or show signs of being kidnapped again. Like, there were serious indications that there was someone behind the camera ordering her to do stuff and act in a certain way, and that she was actually scared of this person, acting really very nervous and anxious in between cutscenes. And the editing suggested that she really wasn't in control of the situation, and this kept getting worse and worse until one day she just made the last video on her channel and dropped off the internet, never to be seen again. there's just so many things that I don't understand about this. First of all, ASMR food, I'm sorry, but I'll never understand what makes you people like that, but if you do, then you do you. Now, you couldn't just easily dismiss this as a stunt, again, because she never returned. Not in some redemption arc like Marina Joyce or what have you. She never ever came back. There are real signs of distress that was going on with this content creator that was basically very genuine, seeming that really was not comparable to any other similar situation that's ever happened up to that point. But there still was no concrete evidence of this, unlike the last channel that we discussed. Kate Yup indeed demonstrated behavior that could be psychologically identified by a psychological lawyer person as being very much evidence of something being wrong, or perhaps being in a distressed situation involving being a hostage of someone. So because of that, it's not unreasonable to assume that definitely something might have been happening in the personal life of Kate Yup that eventually led up to the entire channel's abandonment for all of these years up until now. We can only hope that whatever the cause was not actually sinister. And there's lots of more details on the reasons why the situation involving Kate Yup was just actually a little bit more eerie than what I can go into in full detail here. So I would recommend you to, if you were to be more interested in this, to look it up yourself and find lots of dedicated videos made by a whole bunch of other talented Scooby-Doo type people on this website who like investigating the same type of thing as me, and go look into it for yourself and come to your own conclusion. But as for today's episode of the most disturbing channels on YouTube that should not exist, those are the 3 channels that we will be covering. I hope you found those to be enjoyable. I'm basically going to be scarred now, as I continue to torture myself in making these ridiculously disturbing episodes of everything being scary. But I'm just kidding, I enjoy making them, and I know you like it too, so you better leave a like on this video, otherwise you will miss out on 10 years of good luck, and a monster will get you in your sleep. Just saying. YouTube Unsolved, the official series of this channel, not this spin-off series, will be returning at the end of this month, so be prepared for that. The Spook Fest will return soon. And until then, I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.